Kristen, we're doing something a little different. This is our very first ever video podcast. And so if you don't know who we are, like we said, I'm Brandy, she's Kristen, and we choose whether or not we want to fuck, marry, or kill it. It's like the game you know and love.
It's worth noting, we have the most popular pop culture podcast in the country, but in the 5th timeline. We are in the 6th timeline, so, we're working for what we can get.
Hello, hey, hi, and happy pandemic to you. Krisha says hello.
He's the Eva Perón of pop culture, where he starts off at a strip club in Florida and ends up as fucking president one day. And the Gloria Esteban music.
Get on your feet. Hello, kids. I'm Brandy.
I'm Kristen.
We're your hosts of Pop Culture Fuck, Marry, Kill. As you know, we don't fuck, marry, kill any people in this podcast. Just the pop culture things that are going on in the world, in this crazy world that's going on right now. But today we're coming to you live from the quarantine zone, and we're doing something a little different. And we have a very special message from a very special guest. So I'm going to play that now.
Hello, hey, hi, and happy pandemic to you. I'm so moved that you like my work. I haven't heard your podcast, but I might check it out. I mean, I have nothing to do. In terms of words of encouragement, the one thing that comes to mind is to remind you that sooner or later this will pass. It might not pass as soon as we wish it did, but it will. It'll pass. Krisha says hello. Krisha is sadly part of the problem. Yesterday, she went to a house party, and she said that the media and the government can't take away her fun. So if she starts coughing, I'm gonna have to have a little talk with her. What would Julio Torres do? Regarding the pandemic? I guess cameo videos for charity. Putting something glitter on my face, and going a little cuckoo, doing these. Eric is also here, unfortunately. I promise that not all of the videos that I've been doing lack cohesion as much as this one. I usually pick a theme, whether it's Krisha, Eric, Chichi. Chichi is, this is Chichi. I usually pick a theme and I stick to it, but this one is really, really rambly. I don't know why, and I do apologize for it. In terms of encouragement, I gave you sort of live encouragement, but I don't know if that's what you were looking for. I hope it was. And I swear that it's not like canned encouragement. I really do mean it. I do know and believe that this will one day pass. What else? I don't know. I think that's it. I truly do believe that's it. My stress pimple is healing. Isn't that nice? All bad things come to an end sooner or later, which is great. All right, take care, stay strong. You can still do your podcast, right? How do you deal with guests if guests can't come? I guess they can just do it remotely, right? Great. Okay, it was really rambly. If you think, oh, that was horrible, I want my money back, remember, no, it's for charity. So it's too late. Okay, bye, take care.
Brandy, I am fucking speechless. I don't think I've ever been so surprised in my life. What the hell?
I never get to surprise Kristen. I feel like she, being the Leslie Knope that she always is 10 steps ahead, and I never get to surprise her. So I am sort of reveling in this. Yeah, our patron saint, Julio Torres, announced on Instagram that he was joining Cameo, and you could purchase cameos from him for a nominal fee, and they were all going to charity, to restaurant workers in New York. And I jumped on that as fast as I could. And yeah, like he didn't have to do them all too. Like he did a bunch, but like technically you can buy a cameo and like they don't have to do it. So I was like, you know, he probably won't do this for us, but then he did, and I am really pleased with the result.
Well, Julio, if you're watching this now, you should know that you are our JT. I know the colloquial JT of the universe is Justin Timberlake, but you are our JT in all things. I actually considered switching my favorite color to clear because of how much I love you. For the record, it's iridescent, which is kind of like an off-brand clear. Brady, I'm fucking floored. I bow down to you. That was,
yes.
If the pandemic brings us nothing else, that was fucking awesome.
Right? And it went to a good place. So happy to donate to charity. And Julio, if you're listening, thank you for your words of encouragement. We do think this will pass, and we're hanging in as best we can. And we appreciate your kind words. We hope that Eric, Krisha, and Chi-Chi are doing well. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. So as I said earlier, Kristen, we're doing something a little different. This is our very first ever video podcast. Who would have thought? The quarantine is bringing us together virtually, just like everyone else.
And it gave me an excuse to like put on clothes and makeup today. I didn't shower, but you know, fixing this up a little bit. It was nice. It was nice. Yeah.
I definitely took a lot of selfies this morning because this is the first time that I've fully done my hair since I think like March 3rd when I went into quarantine.
Well, you know, this was always an excuse for us to hang out. So now it's an excuse for us to hang out digitally.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, this is a very special pandemic episode, you guys. We love theme episodes. And if you thought the pandemic was going to keep us from doing a theme episode, you were very mistaken. So we're doing things a little different this time. And some of you may be joining us for the first time, maybe on YouTube, maybe you're bored and you're cruising the pod list trying to find something new to listen to. And so if you don't know who we are, like we said, I'm Brandy, she's Kristen. We host this little podcast. We talk about the good, the bad, and the super, super, super bad in pop culture every week. And we choose whether or not we want to fuck, marry, or kill it. It's like the game you know and love.
But it's really worth noting, this is not about the people, right?
No.
This is about the phenomena, the things, you know, the Tiger King nuances, not Tiger King himself.
Exactly. We never fuck, marry, or kill people because we are classy bitches. Thank you very much. And if you've never listened before, we welcome you. Stick around. We think it'll be really fun. This is, I think, the darkest timeline. I mean, so far. Kristen, I don't know if you disagree.
It's worth noting, we have the most popular pop culture podcast in the country, but in the 5th timeline. We are in the 6th timeline, so, you know, we're working for what we can get.
Yeah, she's not wrong there. So you just have to take her word for it. So this timeline, we're doing our best.
All
so, right. Yeah. So that being said, we've had a special message from a very special guest, and we actually have 2 calls. You can call and leave us a message anytime you want, and we can talk about it. You can tell us your fuck, your marry, or kill. You can complain. You can just call and say whatever you want. Our phone number is 805-628-BOOP. That's 805-628-2667 if you want to call us. And we're going to play these calls. They are from a friend of the pod. His name is Beau Foz, and he's a co-host of the Comedy Colin podcast, tell a friend. They've done about 86 episodes, and he promises that about 11 of them are very good. So you should give it a listen. I'm going to play the first one now.
I just want to shout out to Riverdale. I want to marry Riverdale this week. It's finishing so strong. It's a crap season. Season 3, best season of television ever. Season 4, super uneven up until the last few episodes when it got ultra crunk once again. Marry Riverdale. Riverdale for life.
Interesting. So these calls were prior to this week when we decided we were going to do a special all-time pandemic episode. So this is just, specific to Fuck, Marry, Kill of, the stuff that's going on this week. Riverdale, Brandy, are you still watching?
Yes, I am, big time. And Riverdale is often my marry every week because, well, it's actually probably more like my fuck every week because that show, I don't know if I've ever talked to you about it, but like I talk to everyone about it. It is so batshit crazy. Like it is like so far beyond any other show on TV, and it makes absolutely no sense. And most people would say it's bad, but like I don't know, air quotes bad, but I would disagree because the thing about Riverdale is that it wholeheartedly knows exactly what it is, and it just leans in 20,000%. Like they're not trying to kid anybody or pretend that there's like an amazing drama. Like they know exactly what they are, and they just go full force ahead. And it's the best hour of TV you can just sit down and watch. It is so fucking enjoyable.
So I need you to make a case for Riverdale. I stopped watching, I think it was the beginning of season 2 after, or maybe it's season 3, after Luke Perry gets shot and killed. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, he doesn't die. There.
Oh! But like, I got so annoyed. Like, the one thing, like, I love all of the dumb shit for the sake of being dumb, but like, unbelievable character motivation. Like,
oh,
and it's
well,
like, I think it's so squirrely, and like people who've been one way, and just like take a 180-degree turn with no justification at all. I was like, and I just stopped.
Okay, well, the show's never gonna not have that in it for a lot of the characters because it's soap opera, basically. It's just a teen soap. I will say this, season 2 is not good, but season 3 is amazing. It is like,
or do we have to go through?
I think you might have to, you could probably watch a pretty detailed recap on YouTube of season 2.
Okay, I'll do that. Is Kelly Ripa's husband still in it? Because like that, I find him hilarious.
Oh yeah, he's like a main character.
Oh, good. Because he wasn't in the first season. He becomes a character after.
Oh no, he's a very big part of it. And to our caller's point, season 3 is one of the best seasons of TV that I've experienced. Again, not like peak premium TV. It is so fucking enjoyable. Like I can't stand it. Like it is just that much fun.
Like finding a really delicious candy bar in the dumpster.
Oh man. Yeah.
See, I would say I think maybe, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but instead of you like wanting to fuck or marry this every week, I feel it's like that mistress that you don't tell anybody about, right? Like,
but that's the thing. I tell everyone about it.
You don't bring her to my dinner parties. You don't bring her to my dinner parties. You've never told me.
Yeah, which is very strange that I haven't talked to you about it. It's more like it's my MLM that like everywhere I go, I'm like, so do you watch Riverdale?
But I'm not into essential oils, so you're just like not bringing that shit to my house.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe that's what it is.
Cool. Well, I'll watch a YouTube recap, and maybe we'll be talking about this on our next episode.
I'll just say that between me and our caller and like a few other folks, we have brought along a lot of people at my work to the Riverdale train, and now it's like every Friday we talk about it kind of thing. So there's that.
All right.
Okay, so Our caller also called and left us another voicemail, so I'm going to play that here.
Guys, where the fuck is Channing Tatum? Where is
it? I feel, okay, so I have thoughts on this. First of all, that is a very insightful boop of a comment.
Yep.
I feel like good A-list celebrities are like humpback whales, and they know when to like crest and come up for air and be omnipresent for a moment and then go back under the surface so we don't get sick of them. So he's just living on his Greek island right now with his wife, and he'll come back, or either that or he's a criminal mastermind and he's the one behind the whole COVID-19 shit. It's one of those two things.
Yeah, I think it's the first one. Like, I think it's like, not that I'm saying that, like, maybe it's the second one.
I mean,
twist.
Like,
yeah, I think it's more like he was really oversaturated for a while, like Jennifer Lawrence, and just took like a back seat. And he was like raising his kid with his ex-wife, and he was dating Jessie J. And it was just like, I'm going to put a pin in this for a minute and just sort of like relax. But I do think that like we'll see like an uptick in more Channing Tatum probably in another like year or two. But I also don't think that Channing Tatum has like a long runway. Like, I don't think he's gonna like be an A-lister for a long time.
Oh, I see. I'll put $1 on that. Let's revise this on our 5th season in like 2024. I think he knows like how to play those cards right. You know, he's the Ava Perón of pop culture, where like he starts off at a strip club in Florida and like ends up as fucking president one day. Like,
I mean, maybe I will eat crow if that happens, but for some reason I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like the roles, I feel like he might even go the way of like Pratt, where like they like skyrocketed so far so fast, and then they just sort of like plateau in these sort of like, they actually almost sort of like regress back into like dumb, lunky, bad roles because like they aren't amazing actors, and like their charisma can only get them so far, and then it's just sort of like fizzle.
Pratt didn't go back down. He's the humpback whale that just stayed up too long.
Right. Well, sure. Yeah, that's fair. But well, good question.
Yeah.
Really good question. Thanks for calling in. Bo and friends, take a listen to Tell a Friends. You can find them where you find your podcast. Okay. So that brings us to the real juicy G of this episode, which is our FMKs. So we said at the top of the episode we were doing something a little special. So this is a theme episode. It's pandemic, it's quarantine, we're all stuck inside. So we thought we would bring you a little bit of light, a little bit of joy. So we decided to do our FMKs for all-time comfort media, our guilty pleasures, our go-to things for the dark timelines. And
our
so
warm,
that's
fuzzy blankets and our lines of Coke.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to bring you today. And I thought we could start with you, Kristen.
Okay, well, so we, on the pod, a lot of times we have audio clips, but because this is a visual episode, we'll have some video clips, but I always like to be a little extra. So I have a few props and wardrobe changes. So my comfort fuck is 90s movies. I feel like there's really nothing fucking better than the golden age of completely amazing, well-crafted movies like Kill Bill, but also the genre redefining movies that were, you know, on the surface very like fluffy and superficial, but created like the path of an entire new form or renaissance like Scream. So there's quite a few, but that is my fuck for the week. And really, when these dark times, there is nothing better than going back to Titanic, or even, you know, dare I say, like An American Beauty, even though we kind of have to like wince and a Kevin Spacey, but it's a really good fucking movie, right? Totally lit Allison Janney's career on fire. Thank you for that. So that's my fuck.
That's a really good one. I almost did something really, really similar because it's just sort of like puts me in a little cocoon of familiarity. Like I feel like I can't be harmed there. And so like that's what I feel like those movies bring me. Which is that's a really, really good one. I good pick.
Yeah. I mean, Heat, like another movie. It's fucking resplendent. Basically anything that Al Pacino and Robert De Niro have been in since then is a cheap, like, carbon copy of that fucking movie. Also Val Kilmer, like, who is he even as a human anymore, right? Like, let's just go back and watch Heat on repeat over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's actually on my husband and I made a quarantine movie list, and Heat is on our list. We haven't gotten to it yet, but like that's on there. Like for that exact reason, we were like, what feels familiar and good and like comes from a place of no danger and like past happiness. Like, let's watch that.
Yeah. Jurassic Park. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, how are all of those movies in the same 10-year period?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
All right, Brandy.
Really good pick. Okay, so my fuck of super comfort media is going to be basically anything from the Michael Schur universe. So that's going to be your Office, your Parks and Rec, your Good Place. And I actually, for anyone who hasn't finished The Good Place, you can skip ahead several minutes at this point because we might have mild spoilers. But, you know, I've seen the Office episodes, like a zillion times. Same for Parks and Rec. But like anytime I watch anything remotely traumatizing, or like if we do a rewatch of like Breaking Bad, or if we watch some sort of scary movie, or if we watch like, I don't know, anything that's just sort of like way too heavy, I always have to chase it with something like a Parks and Rec episode. It's just like the perfect palate cleanser of just like very happy, fuzzy, and funny, but like there's just so much heart there. But there's also just like the gags throughout just like give me such pleasure that like I cannot express how happy they make me. And The Good Place, that whole show, but particularly this final season, like I was not expecting it to prime me quite so much for the feelings of a sort of like near world ending pandemic, but I'm glad that I experienced it before now. It was sort of very heady, and all of the feelings around The Good Place too, like just the music and just like the warm sort of like Vaseline around the camera lens feel of like the way that place looked, and just makes me really happy. And so I would say Michael Schur has a very specific touch to the way that his shows have heart, and it just makes me feel very safe. And so I would say anything from his catalog is my fuck for a dark time.
Yeah. How do all of those shows have so much heart, but yet not be, off-putting and unctuous, right? Like
I know.
They're still super like it's a very hard balance to be genuinely funny, really intelligent, but also have so much heart, right? And I think that's I love it. I would say, not with the same nuance that you put on it, but like those are all things that, like, especially Parks and Rec, I mean, what a way to carry us through the dark times. Well done.
Yeah, like I watched several clips of some of my favorite episodes before we got on here, and I was just like cackling, but also just sort of like taping my eyes open, because like, just like moments between Ben and Leslie, and just like them trying to walk across an ice skating rink because there's not enough carpet. Like, I mean, it's just like so many moments of it just make me so happy that I'm probably going to have to go and find them and watch them after this call.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's when Leslie's running for city council and the Gloria Esteban music.
Get on your feet. Mm-hmm.
And like, it's amazing. And I was actually thinking about this yesterday as I was sending a GIF on my phone to somebody. The amount of phrases, like let's just like for the sake of argument, just Parks and Rec, but like all of the Michael Schur shows.
Yeah.
The amount of things that they have put into the universe as real things now. Treat yourself, Galentine's Day, you know, like new holidays, right? Like, what fucking power is that?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think people give, like, people love those shows, but I don't think people give Mike Schur enough credit for being the creator of like these little pockets of like special universes.
Yeah. I mean, I have cards right behind my desk. Like, I didn't know you were going to say this. I literally have cards right here that I bought that are like, you know, but like, you know, look at that, right?
I love it.
This is, where's the Land Mermaid one? I don't know where it is. But yeah, it's like, people
well, and it's like, you guys who are listening or watching, I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but like, Kristen is the living embodiment of Leslie Knope. Like, if there were somebody who like overachiever in an amazing way, like loves holidays, loves birthdays, loves her friends, like, you know, some people could describe her as a steamroller, but it's with love. Like, you know, so much effort goes into like caring for her friends and her family and her job and like the things that she's passionate about, and she's gives the best gifts, and like it's almost like annoying how good she is at all that stuff, but like it's exactly like Leslie. I would say like not quite as like frenetic as Leslie can be, because she can be like a lot, like watching those clips I was like, oh yeah, she can be like kind of crazy sometimes. And I don't exactly know what your favorite food is, obviously Leslie's waffles, but she is, aside from those things, pretty much exactly like Leslie, which is I think a very high compliment. So if you didn't know, now you know.
I'll take it. I will 1,000% take it, even if it's not well deserved. I'll take it.
Okay, so do you need to get out of that latex suit?
Yes, we should move on to the Mary so I can get out of this shit.
Okay, Kristen, what is your all-time comfort Mary?
All right, wardrobe change, although this is just props, not wardrobes.
All right,
Brandy. In order for me to tell you my Mary, I need to give you a little riddle. What do George Clooney, Andy Garcia, Jackie Earle Haley, Bryan Cranston, Marsha Cross, Jonathan Brandis, Bill Maher, Megan Mullally, and Cynthia Nixon have in common?
If I had truly been listening and kept up with everyone that you said, maybe I could guess, but I don't know. Go.
I mean, let's just say I just took like the dice of all actors and threw it out, and a bunch of randos came up, right? But those are just several of the hundreds of special guest stars that have appeared on Murder, She Wrote, which in my opinion is the best fucking TV show that has ever existed ever. In fact, of course, it's so great. I'm gonna get all of them.
I'm almost mad I didn't anticipate that this would be your selection.
This is every single episode of the 12 seasons of Murder, She Wrote on DVD. I'm actually, in these dark times, I'm working on digitizing them so that I can watch them on my computer, because I don't even have a DVD player anymore. They used to be on Netflix, which is how I was just like bored a couple of years ago. And I was like, I'll watch this shit.
I was going to watch them and I never got around to it.
Yeah, I'm really glad I like got in there like the Indiana Jones right under the door as they like turned it off. It's the best fucking show, and I will cut anyone who says otherwise because you don't know what you're fucking talking about. First of all, up until SVU came out, it was the longest running mystery show on television. SVU kind of like blew everybody out of the water, but 12 seasons. I looked this up today because I wanted to be sure it was right. So it started in 1982, and Angela Lansbury, starring in a television series in 1982, was 59 years old.
Wow.
And that is fucking amazing. It's you know, the way that she's portrayed in that show is super empowering, and she's not sexy, you know, like there's no, like all of her
I mean, not to you.
Well, no, especially to me, but like, you know, it's not like the whole point, like even Mariska Hargitay, like she's hot, right?
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
And so I love that even 40 years ago, we had a major heroine of a TV show whose value was in her intelligence, and the fact that she was old and the fact that she was hot or wasn't hot, you know, like that didn't matter, right? And then I super love that in every episode, and this is like one of those cliche of Murder, She Wrote things. So the way that Angela Lansbury, whose name in the show is Jessica Fletcher, the way that she always figures out who the killer is, and then she'll lay a trap so that the killer has to like go and, you know, get evidence or whatever in the middle of the night. And so she'll lay in wait for the you know, the killer to come to get the evidence, and then she'll like turn the lights on and be there, and she's just fucking there by herself as like some old lady with a fucking murderer, and then she like gently scolds them, right? Well,
Sure.
Brandy, you really shouldn't have murdered John McGillicuddy, your next door neighbor, and shame on you. And they always then like feel, well, occasionally they don't, but most of the time they then feel contrite because they've disappointed Jessica Fletcher, and they like confess, and sometimes they try to kill her, but like most of the time, like her integrity as this old lady, like they like, you know, whatever. And I am fucking here for it all day long. Also, there is a board game from the 80s, which I couldn't find in my garage, but I have, and it's a fucking legit board game. So for all of these reasons and more, the defense rests that this is the best television show of all time, and it is my Mary.
And you're going to somehow put the digitized episodes up in a place where I can view them.
Yes.
Because
Federal investigators, this will be legal.
Or you can digitize those, and then you can leave the DVDs in a bag on your driveway, and then I can drive by and grab them because I can watch those on my living room TV, because I also don't have a DVD player on my computer.
Fuck yeah, I'll just wipe them down with Clorox wipes and deliver them to your house as a care package with a Leslie Knope card.
Watching TV in the time of pandemic, you guys.
Fucking resplendent.
I love that was your Mary very much. That's a very good pick, and yeah, I really did mean to get around to watching those before they went off Netflix. I just never thought that they were in danger of being one of the titles that were taken away. So Netflix, fuck you.
Maybe it'll come back.
Maybe.
Also,
sometimes they do.
She was an executive producer on it and owns the content. And also, it was the last television show to be shot on film and hand cut, which like, that's so fucking cool too.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it.
No. We can have a whole other podcast that's just about that. I love it. I love it.
All right, Brandy, what is your Mary?
Okay. So my Mary is also something from a different time, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much, because it reminds me of a time when things like this were still good, but it was sort of the last grasp at when things like this were that good, and it just reminds me of that time. And it's a little rom-com called Just Like Heaven. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
The name is familiar. I don't even know what you're talking about. Enlighten me.
Well, let me play the trailer.
I'll have a sugar-free vanilla non-fat cappuccino.
You've been here 26 hours. Go home.
All right, I'll have you know I'm completely capable of meeting men on my own. Is there anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable today?
Marry me?
Let's decrease his morphine drip.
You're so lucky that all you have to worry about is work.
It's just a month-to-month sublet. Some kind of tragedy in the family.
What are you doing?
Hello?
So what kind of encounter did you have?
Encounter?
There's nothing are stealing here.
I live here.
You can't live here because I live here. Are you seeing things that aren't quite real to you?
Go away, you don't exist. It's one of those dreams and you know you're dreaming.
Get out!
Another one, my.
I've been sort of seeing someone that's not there.
You mean she's emotionally unavailable?
You are.
I can't remember.
How is it that I can see her and no one else can?
Righteous.
I know it's crazy. She's right here with us right now.
Could you just hold on just a sec?
Get the hell out of here, you freak!
The apartment upstairs, it belonged to a young woman.
I don't know of a single date that she'd ever been on.
She was like a cat lady without any cats.
She's a little doll.
God knows she wasn't dating anybody.
Does everybody have to rub it in?
Oh my God, you totally violated me.
You know, it wasn't that pleasant for me either.
DreamWorks Pictures presents the story of two people finding each other.
I'm sensing some pretty intense feelings she has for you, bro.
Really?
Between the here and the hereafter.
I think if you could ever really touch me, I might wake up from all of this.
Reese Witherspoon, Mark Ruffalo, and Napoleon Dynamite's John Heder.
I'm like 99.9% parched here. Could really use a cola.
Just like heaven.
Is there a doctor here? Excuse me, pardon me.
What's wrong with him?
It's a tension pneumothorax.
I think it's a tension pneumothorax.
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 Pneumothermin.
Never mind.
Never mind.
So now you know.
I've really never seen that before in my life, and I know a lot about a lot. Tell me more, Brandy. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so a lot of people have never heard of or never seen this movie, and it was from what I remember, I'm pretty sure it was a pretty big flop when it came out. I think it came out in 2013-ish. So Mark Ruffalo, Reese Witherspoon, Napoleon Dynamite's John Heder. If that doesn't date it, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I think it probably came out like a year after Napoleon Dynamite, whatever that was.
It was directed by Mark Waters, who directed Freaky Friday and Mean Girls. It also has Donald Logue in it, who you might know from Grounded for Life. He also had a long role on ER. He was in Terriers. Also, Kristen, I thought you might find it funny. This is just a little aside before we get into why My Mary is just like heaven. He had a role on a show called Royal Pains, in which his last name was McGillicuddy. And I couldn't believe it because I watched Royal Pains for a while. Like, I could not believe it because I thought that was a name that you just like made up out of your brain. But like, somebody's real name is something McGillicuddy, and I laughed so hard when I saw that. Anyway, so the reason I like this movie so much is, one, it is actually incredibly charming. Like, I'm sure now it's like a little contrite or a little sugary, but it was one of the last rom-coms I feel like that came out kind of in that big boon of like early aughts to early 2010s of rom-coms that were like actually still good. And it's a pretty good use of Reese Witherspoon. This was sort of like in that same realm of like Sweet Home Alabama Reese Witherspoon, which she was also very good.
Is this pre or post Sweet Home Alabama?
I think this was post.
Okay, because I would think it was post too, but she looks real young.
So I will say this, the makeup and hairstyling of Reese Witherspoon in this movie is not good, but she is great in it.
I have so much nostalgia for the late 90s, early 2000s flip out.
Oh,
like,
sure.
Like never again, but like, I'm like, oh, that time.
Exactly. It's also a really good use of Mark Ruffalo, who has since pivoted, besides from Avengers, to like mostly like dramatic roles. This is what made me like really fall in love with Mark Ruffalo. Like, he's just so sort of affable and charming and almost kind of like Hugh Grant-ish, in that he's just sort of like kind of foppish and just sort of falls around, but so charmingly. It's funny. They make San Francisco, not that I don't already love San Francisco, I think it's a beautiful city, but they make San Francisco just this like dreamscape of a backdrop, and the way that they shoot it, and it like it sounds, I hate when people say this, but like it truly is like a character in the movie, and I want to kill myself because I just said that, but like it does play this huge part in the movie, and the way they shoot it just feels so dreamy and ethereal. And I don't know, it's just like I was single for such a long time and by myself, and so I really like resonated and was drawn to rom-coms, and I was single when this came out, and it just sort of like hit me so hard because it was so sweet, and it was just about these people finding each other, and it was like it didn't have to do with like a bet, like how to lose a guy in 10 days or like anything mean. It was just like she was in a coma, and like somehow she was haunting his apartment that was her old apartment, and like he tried to figure it out, and they fall in love, and it's amazing. Like it's just really, really earnest. I don't know, there's something about it that is just, it feels like a hug. It's just so happy and heartwarming, and I watch it at least once a year when I want to feel happy, and like I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. And I'm recommending it so hard that I know that if people watch it and they don't like it, like I don't care. Like it's the best.
Everybody has that movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're saying everybody's going to watch it and be like, where the fuck is this gem been? Like, you know, everybody's got that movie. This is yours. And I love it. And I'm guessing, so she's in a coma, not actually dead. So like, spoiler alert, like, you know, when she finally touches him or whatever, then the magic happens, right?
It's a little more complicated than that, but yes, she is in a coma. She is not dead, and it takes him a while and her a while to figure that out.
Yeah, but so like, it's a terrible ending where everybody's sad and dies, right?
Yes, exactly. That's why I watch it at least once a year.
Cool. Great. Well, I love that I know a little bit more about you now. That's adorable.
Yeah. So highly recommend Just Like Heaven. You should watch.
I'll give you all my DVDs of Murder, She Wrote, and I'm gonna go watch that movie.
Cool. Good swap.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it like 1,000 times to equal the amount of air time.
Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on to the last round. We are moving on to our kills of all-time comfort media. Kristen, what do you got?
Okay, so I will qualify this. I'm gonna set my cup down. I have a clip. This is a little bit pandemic specific.
Okay.
So were we not in a pandemic, this would not be potentially the kill for my all-time kills.
Okay.
Of non-comfort media, but we are where we are.
Can you hear me? My name's Dr. Arrington. You're in the hospital.
Feeling well, and then this morning
You had a seizure this morning, Beth. Have you had something like that
She
before?
had a history of seizures?
No.
Allergies, other medical problems?
I think she's
She
allergic
fall
to
recently?
penicillin.
Hit her head in the shower?
No. She came back from a trip and she
What about drugs? MDMA? Ecstasy?
No, we don't do that.
Okay, let's get some help.
Beth.
Sir, you have to go.
Let's get a line in her and give me 2 milligrams of Ativan, please.
All right.
Excellent.
So that's a little clip from one of the many disease movie TV shows that's out there right now. That's from Contagion. I picked that clip in particular because even though let's just set aside the fact for a second that people are dying right now, and that's exceptionally serious, and I'm no way making fun of that at all, right? We'll just set that to the side. It is fucking hilarious to see Gwyneth Paltrow die like that. Not that I hate Gwyneth Paltrow, not that, you know, whatever. Like, she does a good job of dying in a really realistic and morbid way. But, you know, as I think most of our country has done, because the pandemic and Contagion and Outbreak on Netflix have skyrocketed to the most watched media right now. And then Outbreak is only on Amazon, so I rented that the other day, and then I saw that was up there too. So everybody's watching this shit, right? Because we're living through it right now, and it's fucking terrifying, and everybody's worried. It feels very apocalyptic, and you just want to pop the zit and see it too. And so I watched I watched Contagion first, and by the end of it, I was like, I feel so bad. That was like when you pop a zit and then it gets infected and like crusts over, and then it gets pussy again, and then you have to like pop it again, and then you're like, why did I do this to begin with? Like that is all of these shows. Like I don't know what I was thinking. They did not make me feel better. They made me feel infinitely worse. And I don't know, I need to go like talk to a therapist about like the levels of processing of all of that. But that media is why like right now is the opposite of comfort media, and it is my kill.
Wow, that was almost my fuck. I'm serious.
Would you have played the Gwyneth Paltrow dying scene?
I had that scene, and then I had a scene from Outbreak queued up, but then I ended up changing it.
Let me see if I can guess which the scene is from Outbreak. Is it the one where Rene Russo is dying and Dustin Hoffman takes his hood off and she's like, don't take it off.
No.
Is it where Kevin Spacey dies and his blood's coming out of his eyes?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, those are my two guesses. Like,
it's the scene in the movie theater when the person coughs and then it zooms in and it shows the little particles flying around.
Yeah. That movie is so 90s.
Yes. So yes, it's so 90s. It's so dumb. That half of that movie, we just watched it last week. That movie is basically just Dustin Hoffman and Morgan Freeman screaming at each other, just like constantly.
Donald Sutherland in that movie is like unwatchable.
Oh my god.
Like the end, I was like, oh my god, like this is embarrassingly bad. And Donald Sutherland's great, right? Like I'm not snarking on him.
Yes, it's just that movie is badly written. Anyway, this is a very good kill. And I think we may have talked about this before, but like a fucking a kill rides a fine line a lot of the time. So that's why I ended up dropping it, is because like, yeah, it is like popping is it in that like we watched Contagion in the very first week, and because we were like, sure, let's watch it. And also I had seen it, but my husband hadn't. And I had only seen it the one time when it very first came out, like 9-10 years ago. And one, the movie still slaps. Like it's still a quality movie. Like Soderbergh made a good movie.
Yeah, and the epidemiologists, they had like one of the foremost expert epidemiologists consulted on that movie is now saying, I've been telling everyone this is gonna happen, right? So like,
right, like it doesn't make me feel good, but I think I might have been texting you this, is like, it makes me go, well, at least it's not that bad. And that's sort of like what I cling to. And so it's sort of this like sadistic, like silver lining. So, but it's a very good kill.
We're in week, like we're in the first 30 minutes of that movie, Brandy. We haven't martial law yet, but I mean, we're only 30 minutes in.
Well, and what I mean by that bad is that like, thank God that our disease isn't like you look at someone and your eyes start bleeding.
Yes. And again, we're not laughing at the real pain of things that are going on right now. So don't at us for anything. Like it is
no,
serious.
Absolutely not. I know people who have coronavirus. Like, please do not at us. This is very serious. We are just trying to bring you joy and light in this horrific time.
Yeah. So
very, very good kill, Kristen.
How about you, Brandy? What are you killing this week?
So I'm going to caveat my kill with the fact that I had a hard time with this, and it's probably going to be like sort of backwards and against the rules. But my kill is that I am a stickler for the rules, and being so, I can't consume some of my all-time favorite comfort media unless it's a certain time of year. So if you've listened to our pod from the beginning, amazing. Thank you for being such a loyal fan. And if you haven't, shame on you. Please start from the beginning. Kristen and I are both humongous Halloween fans.
If you could tell by my arsenal of costumes that I actually had in my closet that I did not need to go get to acquire this show today.
Yeah. So my birthday's in October. I've always been a huge October fan. Just love the month. Think it's the best. And by default, love Halloween. Big stan. I have a hard and fast rule. Again, please don't at me, but I don't consume or partake in Halloween stuffs until October 1st. And it's a pretty hard out on November 1st. Like, it's just the 31 days. And for me, it's about keeping that time sacred and just really enjoying and mainlighting that shit for those 31 days, just like going straight into an overdose for 31 days.
So you're like the sweet November of Halloween, but instead of being Charlize Theron and having sex with some rando for a month, it's like you're the sweet October of Halloween and you're just fornicating with the holiday.
I guess that's a really horrific way to put it, but sure.
I mean, I think it's an amazing winning analogy, Brandy, but do continue.
Again, Kristen coming in with the amazing analogies. So that being said, it's like a sprint of all the movies I have to consume and all the things that I can watch during those 31 days. And so it's your Hocus Pocus, your Casper, your Practical Magic, your Shaun of the Dead, your Interview with a Vampire, you know, your usual thing, your Coco. I've got a whole list. Those are just a few, but I can't watch those things outside of October.
Not even Coco?
I have watched Coco in November.
That's such a, that's sad.
I know. And again, like, I understand that I'm depriving myself of joy, but like, it's the same way with like Christmas movies to a lesser extent, but like, I can't watch Christmas movies in the middle of summer just because like I just can't get to that headspace. And then I really find joy in keeping the distance so that when I do get to that point in the year, it feels extra special. That's also a part of it, is that it feels extra special when I only do those things in that small window of time. And so if I just like break the rule and watch them whenever I want, well then like they're not special anymore. Right. So I don't get to consume my all-time comfort media because I follow the rules. So like I can't, like Practical Magic is like one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, like theme of Halloween notwithstanding. And maybe one of my goals, maybe my entire goal, I don't know, is to own the home of those aunts and be like them, except not spinster, and, you know, just like, you know, live in that house on the coast and just like cast spells. So like I want to watch that now, but like I just don't feel like I can because it's, you know, March. And so that's my kill, it's just that I'm way too anal with rules and I want to consume that certain kind of media, but I can't.
I mean, sex is only good with Keanu Reeves in November if you keep it in November.
Like Kristen said.
Well, I respect your rules, Brandy, and I guess you will not be partaking in the March 31st Halloween thing.
Yeah, so I saw the Quarantine-a-ween. I saw that and I wanted to be pumped, but I was also like, like to me, I would only be pumped by that if like this were happening in October and we couldn't have real Halloween. And it's like, cool, we'll have a Quarantine-a-ween because it's taking Halloween away from us, but we're not. But hopefully Halloween is still going to happen.
That epidemiologist that was the consultant on consultant on
Contagion.
Contagion. Like, nope. The epidemiologist said that this would die off in the summer and then we'd have a resurgence next fall. So let's hope he's actually wrong and we can celebrate real Halloween and that this isn't even a problem. But
I hope so.
Yeah. All right.
So that brings us to the end of our FMKs, but that doesn't mean that we're done. We always have honorable mentions, which is just, we have to narrow it down to one F, one M, and one K, but there's always stuff that hits the cutting room floor because, I mean, we only have so much time to talk and we watch a lot of stuff. So we also haven't done one of these in a while. and the last few episodes were theme episodes. So there's been a lot of stuff that's hit the cutting room floor. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. So we thought we would use this honorable mention time to just really barrel through a bunch of stuff that we want to recommend and share with you guys that we haven't been able to share on the pod in the last few episodes. So it's going to be a big old list of just all kinds of stuff that we hope will bring you joy. Kristen, do you want to go first?
Okay, so this is super broad, but I just want to, like, we talked about this a little bit in the past episode, but I think it's even more important now that we're all stuck at fucking home. I want to kill the fact that we are in a food desert of entertainment, right? Like, things that everybody's watching right now would be like a 1 or a 2 out of 10 in, like, you know, the early spring, late spring, you know, any run sessions of other years. And I'm just really annoyed about that in general.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, you know, one of my honorable mentions, if you haven't already watched it, is The Circle. And we've already talked about Love is Blind. Those are two things that, like, probably wouldn't be getting as much traction as they are had we not been in kind of a food desert of entertainment.
Question in the front row. So also on the last episode, first time ever, your fuck was my kill, which was Love is Blind. Since that episode, I have watched Love is Blind, and I have to eat a little bit of crow because I was giving you so much shit about it, and then, like, I couldn't stop watching the train wreck either. And I was actually like live texting you as I was watching it, and you were like, yup, okay, girl, good.
Let me find that other meme I can send you.
Right, totally. So I have new reverence for your fuck of that, and I will take all of the shit I gave you away. I still think it's my kill. But like, going back to your honorable mention of The Circle, I actually watched like 5 minutes of the first episode of The Circle weeks ago before Love is Blind, I think, even came out. And I was like, what? No, this is stupid. So before I just repeat what we did last week, tell me why it is something worth watching.
Similarly to Love is Blind, it is stupid. It's really dumb because the way that they have these people interact with their automated interactive circle thing is just so that, like, editors and PAs in the back can, like, type things and then they can cut the video together. Like, they're screaming message, LOL, send. And it's like, okay, well, this thing isn't actually voice activated. You know that, right? Like, you're just screaming things so that people know where to cut and, like, type stuff in for you. It's actually incredibly asinine, but it's just, this one, I would say I can't stand as hard as Love is Blind because it is, I think, dumber on the surface than Love is Blind, which is kind of crazy to say. It is just, or it makes you feel dumber. Love is Blind is like cringe entertainment. The Circle is just like straight up dumb reality TV. But it is interesting to watch the way people behave when they're not interacting for real with people and why they say and behave certain ways. And like, it becomes fun, like, once you get used to the fact that they're having to scream message, send over and over. Like, and also there's something comforting in that, like, they're quarantined also, like, they're locked in these apartments and they only get to interact with these people via the screen. And so it's kind of like a same thing to watch right now. So I can't really, if you don't want to watch it, you don't want to watch it. But if you don't have anything to watch, it's kind of fun.
All right. So my next honorable mention is also a little bit meta, which is, I just am happy that this is happening in a time of high bandwidth access to media, because can you imagine this happening? Again, I'm not making light of a fucking pandemic where people are dying and real sorrow is happening. Can you imagine this happening 10 years ago when we had to get fucking DVDs from Netflix? And some Blockbusters still existed, or even 20 years ago when all we had was Blockbuster. The fact that I can watch fucking Tiger King and be like, this is shit, I'm going to judge it, but I at least have that to like feast on. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Tiger King, if you haven't watched it, watch it.
Are you done?
Yeah.
I'm on like they just the sex guy the Vegas sex guy just went to the feds.
Got it.
So that doesn't, if that's not a spoiler if you haven't seen it because you don't know what that means, but yeah, that's where I am.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, I like, that's like another one of the like meth of television where it's just like it makes me feel so bad, but like I can't stop. Like Netflix is really like in a boom period of those type of shows.
Yes. Yeah. But also like, thank you so much, because if we didn't have that, God.
We'd have to like go walk outside. Ugh.
All right, what else you got?
Well, you go.
Okay. Also, on Netflix, if you haven't watched the British makeup competition series Glow Up, you should watch it because it's crazy. Everyone on there is a whiny little bitch and totally immature, but you need to watch it for the one lady judge who's absolutely batshit. She has two pairs of glasses, one that are exactly the same. She's wearing one at all times, and she's wearing another on a chain around her neck. And I'm not even sure that they do different things. They're giant, big plastic glasses. And her catchphrase is ding dong. She'll say it if she loves it. She'll say it if she hates it. She might say, oh, ding dong. That is smashing. And she'll go on and on about her makeup that she loves. She might scream if she loves something. She might scream if she hates it. She'll be quiet if she loves it. She'll be quiet if she hates it. She is one of the more insane judges I've ever seen on a competition show. And like the talent is like not there. Like the contestants are all like 20 to 26 and they're all totally immature and they all have to take breaks to go cry. And it's just like, it's not like an amazing competition show, but you really watch it for her. So if you haven't watched it and you've got a spare 8 hours, then I would recommend it.
She sounds like she is to you what Deborah, the character from Blown Away, the blow glass show on Netflix, was to me.
A little. She's not nearly as mean as Deborah, but yeah.
Just like the character, you just like.
Yes, definitely.
The light in the character. Yeah, I watched like the first competition of the first episode of that, and I was like, these aren't good. And also, like, I hate it when the judges are so definitive about the badness or goodness of things, and like they don't look any better or worse than each other, and so they're like making you cry, and then other people are so fucking great, and I'm like, they both look almost the same. And I feel like, you know, in some things I wouldn't dare to say that like I'm a better judge than like experts, but I'm like, this is fucking produced up bullshit. So
oh yeah, totally. It's not, like I said, it is not a good quality competition show, but like it's got dramatics, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. So also, sorry, I'm like throwing the meta stuff out. I'm also really, this cuts both ways. It's a fuck and a kill. I'm really, really happy that movies that got short shrift in the movie, like in theaters now, are being made available for pay-per-view. So like, that's great, right? Like we were both really excited to see Emma, which was, you know, fine. But the 90s version with Gwyneth Paltrow, like, give me some of that. But also, I'm really sad about some of the movies I was really looking forward to, like Wonder Woman 1984. Like, I was so excited, and now that's delayed for half a year, which, I mean, I get it. Like, they want people to see it in the movie theater. They don't want people to die by going to the movie theater. We close the movie theaters. Like, all of those things are totally acceptable, but it's like, wah.
Yeah, same thing. I'm really glad that they're releasing some movies to on demand. I will say that I know they have to make their money, but like I do kind of wish that they weren't $19.99. I wish that they were like $9.99 because like some people have lost their jobs and stuff. And like come on, like I think $9.99 would still be fine. We paid $19.99 to watch Emma, and then it was just like totally a snooze fest so-so, and so I was kind of bummed by that. We did pay $19.99, however, to watch The Hunt, which is one of my honorable mentions. I found out it was actually written by Nick Cuse, not Carlton Cuse, who created Lost, but Nick Cuse, who I'm assuming is his brother. I didn't look it up. And also Damon Lindelof, who created Lost, a bunch of other stuff. And it's the movie that was delayed last year because it was going to come out right after we had yet another mass shooting. And it's a group of people who like hunt other humans for sport. And it was not at all what I thought it was going to be. It's funnier, and it's a bit of a satire, actually, which I didn't expect. It's definitely weird, and I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but it was not what I thought it was, which was kind of refreshing. I definitely wish I hadn't spent $20 on it. If I had spent 10, probably would have been okay. But if you want something that's like, you know, a little different, new, you know, probably wouldn't have seen it in the theaters, but need something interesting to waste an hour and a half with at home, like, I recommend it.
And it's got Debbie from Glow.
Yeah, and she does a really good job in it. She does some really interesting stuff.
I was hoping she'd be in more stuff, so I'm glad we're seeing her in things.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check that out. Okay, so my last, also very meta, it's kind of a two-parter. With Life Challenge, Renaissance art is created. And so this couldn't be a bigger fucking life challenge. And so I'm already really excited about the prospect. Like I saw the BBC is actually holding a script writing competition right now. It's only open to people in the UK and Ireland, which is a bummer. But they're holding a script writing competition for COVID related media that can actually be shot in your home, and they're going to pick a certain amount of them and actually pay these writers to produce them, which I was like, that's fucking cool, right?
Cool.
Then got me thinking, I really want to see the new reboot of Rear Window in pandemic times. If you haven't seen Rear Window, Jimmy and Grace Kelly, it's fucking legit. There's spoofs of it forever and ever. So if you've never seen it, you've surely seen a spoof where he's got a broken leg and he's bored and he's looking out the window of his apartment and can see into other apartments, thinks he sees a murder. Everybody else thinks he's paranoid. Turns out he's right. But that's not a spoiler. That's just kind of part of the premise. And so then the plot thickens. I would love to see that version in this pandemic times. That would be really interesting. So I'm really excited to see also that comes out of it.
That's really cool. Did you know that there was a movie that I don't think we're probably ever going to see now, or maybe it'll just come to demand, called The Woman in the Window, was supposed to come out this year with Amy Adams, in which she's an agoraphobe who doesn't like to go outside of her home, and it's basically Rear Window.
You know what? I totally forgot about that. I think I saw the trailer one time, and I was like, that one's different.
Yeah.
Because it's like, isn't she like they try to convince her that she made it all up in her head?
Yeah. It's a little different than Rear Window. It's like, to me, I described it as Rear Window meets Disturbia. Like, did you ever see that movie with Shia LaBeouf? It's a little like that. Like, it starts as Rear Window and then it gets kind of like psychological after that. But yeah,
gaslighting.
Yeah, like I have a feeling it's probably not going to come out anytime soon, but the trailer actually looked kind of good. So,
well, because also Amy Adams is just great at anything.
Well, and it's also got Gary Oldman and Jennifer Jason Leigh in it.
Yeah. Do you have any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, I just had a couple. So this will go really quick. If you have Disney Plus and you are interested in things Disney or the Disney parks, they have a series called The Imagineering Story, and it's a multi-part docu-series. I think there's like 6 or 8 episodes maybe, and it's basically the story of how the Disney parks get made, got built, came to be, the people that make them, the people that tell the stories, the engineers who build them, and everything that goes into making them, from the very first one all the way to the last one that opened. And it's really, really, really cool. It's really inspiring. It's really creative. It's really cool to talk to the people who come up with these ideas for the parks. It's really cool to see how the first, like, Disneyland came up with the idea, how it was built. It gives me kind of the warm fuzzies in my heart. And it just feels like a very special kind of docuseries, and it's on Disney Plus if you have it. If you don't have Disney Plus, though, you should definitely check out these other two things that are on Netflix. One is Lock and Key, which is a series based on a graphic novel. And it's about this family who moves into this creaky old manor, which is a genre that I love. And it's not a spoiler because it's in the graphic novel, and I think it's in the trailer, but their dad has died, and so they move back to this family home, and then there's these mysterious keys that open weird doors, and they do weird magical things, and there's a mystery afoot, and they have to figure it out, and there's a threat, and it's got like sort of a magical element to it, and it's a little YA feeling, and it's really fun. We watched it really quickly, and I wouldn't say it's like prestige drama, but it's just like each episode is just kind of a fun little romp. There's definitely some like annoying characters, but it's definitely, I think, fun if you want to watch it, if you've got teens, if you're into kind of that kind of magical mystery kind of thing. If you like the creaky old manor genre, I think you might really like it.
Is it too scary?
I don't think it's scary. There is like scenes of people getting like shot and hurt. And there's like one scene of something really creepy happening inside of a mirror. But other than that, I don't think it's very scary.
Okay. Yeah. The YA, I'm like, okay, it's probably not that scary, but
yeah, that's how I've been describing it to other people, so that it feels very YA.
Yeah. No, the thumbnail feels very YA.
Yeah. And then the last one, which I think you'll appreciate, is if you have not at this point watched both seasons of Dairy Girls, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Both seasons of Dairy Girls, it's the Irish comedy. They're on Netflix. And it's set in the early 90s during the turmoil of all of the IRA, early Irish uprising, all of that good stuff.
The Troubles.
Yeah, the Troubles. It's really, really funny. Each season is only, I think, 6 episodes. It's hilarious. It's a group of girls who go to a Catholic girls' school, and it's just sort of their troubles and lives and misdeeds during this time, growing up during that time in Ireland. And it's really funny, and it's also really heartwarming. And if you haven't watched it, you should really just get on it, because the episodes are short. There's only 12 of them, and you will not regret it, I promise.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It is not getting enough press or whatever. Like it's amazing. No. It's incredible. It's so funny, and like they ride that balance really well of they're just telling the lives of these young girls, and then it's kind of like in soft focus behind is like this really grim, story about wartime and whatever, but because the girls themselves are so funny and so charming, it really tells a really nuanced story of war. So yeah, this is what gets me, right? The version of telling the story of the Troubles where it's like the men at war and the things and like that wins the Oscar, right? Mm-hmm. That gets the Emmy, not this, which is infinitely more interesting and nuanced storytelling. Because it seems silly because it's about young girls, right? So
yeah, totally. It's like Freaks and Geeksies, but girls, and it's in Ireland, and it's during that time, and that's the backdrop. But yeah, it's really funny. Like they're very, very funny, and you may have to watch it with captions because their Irish accents are thick.
No, like 1,000%. You can't not watch it with captions. So yeah.
Like you might think that you can, and you'll want to challenge yourself, but then you'll regret it because you won't know any of the jokes. So I recommend that you watch it with captions.
Yep. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Nope. Do you have another honorable mention?
Last one. I just thought of this. That I was going to say this. So I also want to kill. We're in Austin, and there were several big productions that were going on here when all of this shit hit, and all of them had to close down. And that's a real big fucking bummer. So like they were shooting the next season of Queer Eye here, and I knew a couple of people who were in that production, doing things and whatever, and like everybody's lost their jobs, and when things come back online, they might not even do it here anymore. And so it's just really like that. And that's one of tens of thousands of stories of what's going on in pop culture and media right now. And so I think it's worth at least saying, kill all of this, right? Like kill the fact that people are unwell and dying, and kill the fact that people are losing their jobs. And thank God that we can sit in our comfortable homes with food and do silly things like talk about pop culture, but fuck all that in the bad way.
Yeah. And ditto everything Kristen said. I think that's a really good segue to just say, like, thanks for listening. And we're really, really lucky that we can talk to you guys about all this dumb stuff. We are glad that we can share our opinions about what to watch and what not to watch here with you guys. If you want to call and chew us out about forgetting your FMK, or just call and ask this question, like, where the fuck has Channing Tatum been? Please do that. Our number is 805-628-BOOP. That's 805-628-2667, and we might just play your call on the show. You can always find us at Pop Culture FMK on Twitter and Instagram, or our website, popculturefmk.com. Please stay safe, stay healthy, hang in there. Yeah, just do what you can. We're all hanging in there and doing our best. We appreciate you guys. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.